Welcome to Ultimate Producer, the beat battle series focused around artists and showcasing their talents. In this first episode, the category of battle is going to be a sample battle. Every artist is provided the same sample and must flip it or remix it into their own song. Every song will be judged by a scale of 1 to 10 in 5 different categories: creativity, sample integration, production quality, arrangement and structure, and originality. All of the categories' scoring will be combined together, and the track with the overall highest production quality in all 5 categories wins. In this battle today, we have 5 different contestants competing for the prize of $50. To ensure fair judging, each of the judges will have not listened to any of the songs previously to avoid any bias, and it'll be the first listen through for each judge. Today, our guest judge is Jay Figgy, hip-hop producer, rapper, and stage artist.
What's up, guys? My name is Jay Figgy. I'm a giant content creator. I like to do a lot of content creating, but most of my passion relies a lot in music making, writing some songs, and doing like animation and art stuff. Yeah, that's who I am. I'm from College Station, Texas. I graduated from Texas A&M University for animation, but you know, creating whatever I can, whenever I can is what I like to do.
Sweet. That's actually some stuff I didn't even know about you. I didn't know that you did all the different stuff with animation too.
Yeah, I do a whole bunch of stuff.
Voice actor, different stuff with musical theater and stages, different plays.
That's true. Yeah, I'm very you know, a lot of people have a specific passion in one thing and they like continue to just do that one thing. I like doing so many things. It sometimes can be problematic, but sometimes that's nice too, so. I wanted to make a longer sample this time around just to kind of give artists a little bit more to work with and try to kind of have like a progression in there they could play with to see what they would do with it. Alrighty. So, we'll get in through here. That was the sample. And then this is just an illusion. It's going a different direction than I thought. Kind of spacey. I do like the spacious vibes. Let's speed it up.
Ooh. And I'm not changing the volume for any of these, so this should be exactly how they mix it. Okay. I like that bass control, like it's really tight. Ooh. Not over yet. Okay, a lot of switch ups. Okay. He went a little bit under the time limit. We did a 2-minute time limit to make it max so that we were not sitting here listening for absolutely ever. But
For sure.
not too bad. What did you think of that?
I liked it. I thought that was pretty cool. I really liked the first part of the beat and then into the second switch. I think I think going into the third switch, I was a little bit like, I don't know. Like I try to put my mind into like where would a third switch come into place, and it kind of felt like it came in soon. I love that part a lot.
Yeah, so
That
I
little
think
dice ice roll.
yeah, I think definitely where this shined a whole lot for Justin Illusion's track is definitely in the breakdowns a whole lot. The breakdowns were really good, and they felt like even
Mhm.
though some of them came like a little earlier than I wanted, they felt really good.
I love that bass too.
Yeah. This bass is solid. The only critique I would have for it is probably this last melody. I'm not a super big fan of the last melody. I feel like it kind of took me away from the style he was going for.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Like that's what I'm trying to also convey is that last part kind of took me out of it because I felt like I did feel
Yeah.
like the first part and the second part went really well together,
And that third part
and
kind of
I
went away a
thought,
little bit. Went somewhere like almost
yeah,
happy when it felt like it was trying to go darker and harder. I feel like it's not necessarily the most creative beat. I think it's like a little safe in terms of some of the ideas, which is totally fine. Like it
right.
doesn't hurt it that it's kind of safer. But I think it is also a little bit on the safe side. Probably say this is somewhere between like a 6 or so. I feel like that's a
Okay,
pretty
I
good
was
spot to put it.
considering somewhere between 6 and 7, so I
Oh
think maybe
no.
6. No, 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 dude,
Uh-oh.
dude. As a teacher, dude,
I
no,
hate
bro.
yeah.
I hear
Yep.
that way too often.
I was trying so hard not
Oh
to say 6 or 7. I was trying so hard.
no, I know, dang, bro.
Okay. All right. In terms for the sample and how he integrated it to the song, I can't say that I really recognize the sample anymore. Kind of feels like,
I agree.
yeah, I can't really recognize the piano anymore. I think that's
Mhm.
definitely it's good. It's well integrated, but it's also not very recognizable. So it's kind of some points off on that. Production quality. I feel like everything's pretty well balanced. I don't have any issues with that. I feel like some of it's a little weird. I can hear clipping in the top end of some of his synths. So I can hear some clipping on some of the parts. That takes away a little bit for me. It didn't do too bad. It's also a little bit on the quiet side for me. I think we're gonna hear some later ones. We're gonna hear the difference between volume a whole lot. It's gonna be kind of. I think it's gonna become a little bit of a loudness war between some of these songs.
Okay, yeah, because I have my volume all the way up, so
Yeah, and this is maxed up volume right here too. So this is Discord's max volume. Whatever he's using for it. That hits really well with the drums. Those are all in key. I feel like the drums and the bass are all in key.
this part eats so hard.
Yeah, this part. I definitely could hear someone going really hard over something like that too. Aside from the very last part not being particularly my sound, it didn't actually sound like bad. It was just not my thing.
No, yeah, I agree with you. It wasn't like that took a left turn for me, but I did like I think the middle part I really enjoyed
Oh yeah, that made up for a
enough
lot
in
of it
terms
for
of
sure.
production that yeah, it sounded pretty nice.
In terms of arrangement, what do you think? I feel like this is a pretty creative song structure-wise and arrangement-wise.
It does switch from one thing to another
Yeah,
to another.
And I'm actually, yeah, it's really happy to hear that because a lot of beat battles that I've heard other places end up kind of, when the contestants, submit beats, they end up kind of falling into this repetitive lull. And sometimes it
Right.
just drags on. You're kind of like, okay, I'm ready for it to switch. Like the beat's hard, but like I need it to go somewhere, move, rest. So this is definitely super refreshing. I liked hearing all the different switch ups. He came with a beat battle beat. All right, and then originality.
I keep taking myself back to that middle portion.
Yeah.
And the last portion, like I know he said that he kind of got like lazy towards the end, but I kind of wish maybe if you were feeling a little bit lazy to either take it out or refine it, sort of.
I think he wanted to hit more time because it sounds like he had like a lot of good like build up, and then maybe it was like a little bit of burnout. Originality, I'd say it is like he kind of put it. It's kind of this generic-y sounding trap. He did it well, but it's kind of also still it falls into that range of kind of I've heard a lot of songs like this. I didn't hear anything super crazy that was like pulling me into the realm of like this is a different kind of song, or like like Tyler the Creator, right, for example, does a lot of different stuff. Like I would put his originality really high. All right, so his total score currently as he sits is a 30.
Oh, quick math. Okay.
He got a 6.5 in creativity, a 4 in sample integration, a 6.5 in production quality, 8 in arrangement, and then a 5 in originality.
You know, this is one of those things where it's like super, like completely objective. I mean, subjective in a way.
All of judging in music can always be subjective, and I try to approach it from like, I want to be unbiased where I like all this stuff, and I don't want to have like personal taste come into it, which again is why I'm saying like the ending wasn't my thing, but I don't want to take points away from it, other than I felt like it just had a weaker ending, right? And that's like not because it was not because it wasn't my thing, but just because I think it was a little bit, you know, lacking in like the same bass and energy that the drums carried in the middle part.
Absolutely, it's hard making some of those decisions when you're comparing the entire thing as a whole.
For sure, and again, all of it's, you know, subjective to it. People are welcome to disagree, but I feel like that's a pretty good spot to put all of the different judgments on it. Because again, I'm trying to find the really strong talent that has, you know, the ability to do really good mixing, to do the good things, and to kind of put them on the spotlight of like, this guy knows well-rounded edges, right? Like he has no bad parts about the production. Like this is somebody who really cares about it, and I want to reward people who really dive into music production, you know, particularly. We're going to go to the next contestant. His name is Plastic Faith. Okay, he said, my track is based around the competition sample, and its use is most notable as the growls and glitchy sounds that fill the drop. So it sounds like he's done a lot of heavy stuff to it. He said that if he wins this contest, he would like, if he wins the contest, he says he wishes to donate the money to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Alright, so Plastic Faith, this is his track. Very big. Very big. Coming in for a track with 1 minute and 38 seconds. He cut it short by 30 seconds. I think definitely...
That's beautiful.
It was beautiful. I think definitely the thing, though, that probably will hurt this the most is the sample integration. The growls sound really awesome, but it's also one of those things that I don't think I would ever be able to discernibly be like, that's the piano sample.
Man, first of all, I love atmospheric vibes. Like, I'm, like... atmospheric, and then something that like someone could just like sing in very softly or something is really nice. So the very beginning was really cool, and the drop was awesome. It felt like it belonged in like Rocket League or like Beat Saber in a way. You know what I mean?
I could hear that too. I hate using that example because like I know some producers will use Rocket League type beat to like as like an insult, but I think you're meaning it sincerely as like an actual good thing. Like
I mean it sincerely. I love Rocket League's music too. Like don't get me wrong. I hope you don't take offense to that, Connor. Like for real, I love like Rocket League stuff. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't know if I heard the integration as well as like I heard the last one. You know?
Yeah, I feel like I heard. Well, also just different, like I feel like also, you know, how you use the sample is part of it too. The growls are really cool, but I feel like it could have been used for more. It feels like because again, you can't really tell, so we have to assume that it's only used for those growls. We don't know if it's used for the atmospheric pads or anything like that. Yeah,
and man, like you might know, like you might be like, man, I took that sample and I like turned it into drums and I turned it into hi-hats and I turned it into, but like you know, if we're not hearing that, then I think that's what's gonna take the integration of the sample part out for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I probably would say I'll give it a 3.5 or 4, just because I wanted to hear more on it, and you could disagree with that if you like. Totally fine too, by the way. I feel like it's one of those things we keep agreeing on most of these, but it's also like
no. But the thing is, like, I've got that number in my head. Like, I'm like sitting here, like, I was thinking kind of like a 4. So, but when you're like rating something, I kind of have like what my rating is in my head. If we're like dramatically different. Yeah, if we're like dramatically different, then we can like have a conversation about it. But no, I agree with you. I think we're both kind of like in the same mindset on a lot of these things.
We're getting in the ring. That's what's happening.
I bet. This does scratch a little creative itch for me, but at the same time, Rocket League's, oh man, forgive me for the Rocket League stuff, but like, when I listen to Rocket League's music, it's very beautiful, and Rocket League kind of gives me that same.
Yeah, you kind of have
itch.
The like bass and high pitch with Rocket League. It's always kind of like a bass and a high lead, and it kind of stays within those two realms and stuff. I mean, me personally, I think creatively, again, like, you know, I want to stress that this is done really well, and I did enjoy this. I enjoyed the whole thing all the way through. But it's also something I've heard a whole lot. Like, I've heard this style a lot. You know, it's a very it's a pretty common style in EDM, kind of having more on the chill side and whatnot. Not bad at all, but it's definitely not something I would rank creatively. Like, you know, it's not super creative up there for me, because I've just heard this a whole lot. Like, you know, NCS does a lot of music very similar to this, and Monster Cat. Well, Monster Cat maybe not as much, but you get what I mean by, like, you'll hear a lot of this kind of style, I feel like, in the EDM scene.
Hard, because I feel like it deserves a somewhat high rating, but I don't think it deserves like a super high rating. You know what I mean? Because it does take some creativity to put that stuff together.
I think a lot of that bass fits really well. It's sidechained nicely. I can hear that kick coming through. I can hear those, you know, really high-pitched swells, and they're not killing my ears. I think it definitely sounds like it's actually pleasant to listen to, even though those ranges and frequencies are really easy to make painful. It's like it feels pleasant all the way through, even though he's using those really high pitches.
The arrangement is it's not there's not a whole bunch of parts to it, right?
Yeah, it's very much build up and drop. It's not really anything in particular.
But with the arrangement that we're like given in this sense, I think I'm leaning more towards like the 7.5 of arrangement, because it's beautiful, and I mean, it's just something that is it's also like, this is what this type of music is. Here you go.
I mean, me personally, I think the build up is like a little bit longer than I want it to be. I kind of want to get to something a little bit sooner, but I'm also kind of like, you know, I think I'm a little bit different in style, and I don't want to take points off for that, because I liked, you know, the build up. I think all of it was really well done, but I do think that I kind of wanted to hear something that kind of, you know, I always aim for catching a listener off guard in a good way. Like, you want to lead somebody subconsciously to a really good drop, and you don't want them to realize they're enjoying it until they're there. I love the sound of it and stuff, but it's also one of those things where it's like, I can't really say it's original, but it doesn't change the fact that I love it. It's just like something I can't honestly be like, yeah, this is super original, different, it's unique, you know.
And it's good, dude. Like, it's good.
All right, so I guess I kind of lock in the ratings. We have a 6.5 in creativity. We have a 4 in sample integration, an 8 in production quality, a 7 in arrangement, and then a 4.5 in originality. All right, next up, we got, let me see this right.
Cherribomb.
Yeah, Cherribomb.
Oh, Cherribomb.
Cherribomb. The Cherribomb would like to use the money to start, or to fund, and to start a brand. They're trying to also start to get into selling beats online, it would seem. So, all right, ready? All right, let's turn it down a little bit. No,
Bro.
you're booing yourself. Oh no.
So in terms of creativity, right? Like at the beginning had kind of like its own little section of things, and then it went into a loop. Uh, I feel like within that loop, you're definitely gonna want to add some sort of changes, whether it's drops, whether it's taking things out, whether it's putting things in. In this case, it did almost kind of feel like you made your own sample. In Grace, because I know that you had less time, but at the same time, there needs to be some sort of switch up there. You getting started now with at 15 is like a great point in time. So, like in terms of creativity, I'd probably give it like I would say a 3 because I do like the the like instrumental noises that are going on, but then I do want to hear that switch up.
It almost sounds like a collage, like how you'd have like an art collage, and you kind of like make something new out of like pieces that are already existing. We'll do 4.5. Yeah, because again, I think part of it too is like I really wanted to hear something creatively also change. It was kind of like we got a loop, and then creatively it kind of just stopped as well, just in that loop, and kind of got stuck.
I could say production quality. I don't know. I almost feel like the ratings are gonna be kind of the same all around, just because the beat was kind of the same all around. It was the same thing, and I don't think it felt super mixed.
In music, let's say there's no hard rules, but there are certain things that if you follow them in terms of like guidelines, they help make your song unique, but also enjoyable to listen to as well. And a little bit to the detriment of the points, right? This is the only track so far I've had to turn down because it was too loud. The volume is just pushed a little too high, and that kind of gives it, to me, again, that makes it somewhere around the 3 area, because it's all, I had to turn it down, otherwise it hurt to listen to.
I wouldn't definitely not let this discourage you, because this should be something that pushes you to be like, all right, I'm gonna make my beat like I'm gonna go crazy on the next one, and then you come back and you like hit us with something that we didn't expect, and the quality and everything is just so much further enhanced.
And same thing too. Not only is this a competition for improvement, but reach out to me in Discord, reach out to anybody in Discord. I'd be happy to help give tips or do anything else to help out with it if you feel like there's a question you haven't, for music production quality and what to do to kind of give you some good general guidance of how to keep your tracks within a pretty happy range. You really want to hear the ebb and flow of a track and kind of hear it move and breathe. A track, and if it doesn't breathe, it's kind of more like I felt anxious listening to it, kind of wondering when something was going to come by.
I did too, yeah.
I was kind of like,
there wasn't very much arrangement except for like at the very beginning, and then like some new things at the very end. I would lean this more towards a 3 as well. This isn't something I would just like flat out say like 1 or 2, because like you had some subtlety, different things in there. But like when the girth of your beat is the same, then it's hard to rank that up.
Way to describe it, the girth of your beat. I feel like I kind of want to put it at like a 2 for me, just because it doesn't have any change, right? I'm kind of listening to a loop. What are you feeling for originality? I definitely think it was creative. There was a lot of original ideas I think he implemented inside something like this.
I'd probably have to go with 3.
3?
Or 2 or 3. I definitely feel like it's original in the fact that I've never heard of it before, but I also think, again, it is just one sound.
The total rating for Cherribomb, you had a 4.5 inside creativity, a 4 in sample integration, a 3 inside production quality, a 2.5 in arrangement, and a 2.5 in originality. That scores it a 16.5. The submission. Was it Migori?
I would say Mira guy for now.
Mira guy? Okay.
Or Miro guy.
Okay. We'll go with that. Ooh. Okay. Definitely got some heavy R&B vibes in this one. He definitely leaned into my chords a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit over the 2-minute mark, but I'll let it play through. I'll let him get that fade out in there.
For me, it was like right off the jump, boom, felt like I was, and I know I compare
vibe.
everything to video games, but it was a vibe. It felt like Persona 5. And now I'm not saying that that's unoriginal. I'm saying that like that's just kind of the vibe it gave. I mean,
the second I heard it, I felt a classic feel. Like it sounded classic, and it sounded kind of like one of those tracks that you just kind of could always pick up and listen to. Like it's very like consumer friendly in a lot of ways. Like I think a lot of broad audience would like something like that. Or what are you feeling you want to start judging on first after you're done munching on your cheese?
I'm sorry. Am I making noises, bro?
No, you're all good.
So creativity. I think there's some creative aspects to it for sure. I think just a downright rating it'd probably be like a 6.5, 7 to me.
It's not necessarily groundbreaking, but it sounded good. I enjoyed it all the way through. But also again, it's kind of feels classic, and that's like a good vibe. It's just also one of those things that doesn't necessarily like. I didn't hear any like crazy trap drums on something that came through and kind of took me by surprise. That creatively changed it.
I was leaning towards 8, but
okay.
Like 7, maybe 7.5. I feel like is a good meeting place for the both of us.
Actually, you know what? I will give it an 8. Like I said, it ticked all the boxes where I felt like he took my sample, I heard it, I knew exactly what it was, and then he built upon it and grew on it. So I definitely think I would actually bump it up to an 8 at least.
I feel like I agree with you in an aspect where it's like it feels like it's live entertainment type vibe where like somebody's just in the back playing their little chords, dun dun dun, and like somebody comes in and then they want to hit us with a little solo type action like dun, dun, Yeah. I think production value. I'm not gonna like rate it based off of like oh, this is the next pop song, and then the beat of the pop song is like either whack or great. I'm gonna kind of base it off of the fact that it's a live performance song, and I think in that aspect it
does lower the
reach the potentials. Yeah, it lowers the production quality in that aspect. I don't know. I'm like,
yeah, the biggest thing that took me out production quality wise was the sound of the horns in the very first when the first horns came in. I could really easily tell they were MIDI horns like right off bat. It's hard to get, either you buy really fancy libraries that you can do like a really good horn VST, or it's like you have to do a lot of modulation and editing, because horns, they're complex. They like, you don't think about it. You kind of just, when you hear a horn, you kind of think like, but it has a lot of fluctuation and little flutters and like things that go into horn playing. It's a lot more complex than like, that's why MIDI horns just sound so, cheap when you hear them. And I would, and like, again, I think it's also a little bit on the quiet side for me personally. Like I had it at full volume and that's as loud as it got.
Definitely. Yeah. And you made a solid point as well with the horns just kind of sounding MIDI. I mean,
yeah, they took me back a little bit when he stacked them in the third drop. I think that was like the spot where like the horn sounded better because they were chords of horns and it wasn't like that one solo horn. Arrangement.
Does arrangement get points off for having the same bass chord line throughout the entire thing? You know what I mean?
A lot of these I feel like kind of cross blend in terms of like scoring this way, and perhaps we can change this around if someone has better feedback, or if you have better feedback for how to judge this, or even just better wording to be more specific to what we mean. He built up the sample integration really well, but it was also like he didn't use all the sample, and I think that probably would have helped the arrangement, is that he could have had, because you know, you have all this material to play with, it's like you should try to use as much of the material as possible. Integrated really well, but just not utilized to the fullest, you know, capacity in the arrangement, I think. Lock that in. All right. And then originality. But it didn't have the, like, wow, that changed in a really big way. I enjoyed the change up on the chords a lot. I think that was really good. When I heard that third drop come in, I think that was like my best high on the song. Your ratings in creativity were a 6.5. Sample integration was an 8. Your production quality was a 6, arrangement a 6.5, and your originality was a 5.5, landing you with a total score of 32.5. Next up, we have NGC 5194. Nope, didn't give any explanation. I did ask everyone to give an explanation, so hopefully everyone in the future will try to give an explanation of how they use a sample, but NGC is pretty good. I trust him, and I hope that I can use a sample pretty easily inside this. Oh, super easy to tell. Okay. Loving all the textures. Crazy.
Dude.
Up on the outro here. Okay. Dude, that was pretty
like
solid. That was pretty solid.
That was nice. Dude, it's very like, it was super video gamey to me in a way. Like a video gamey EDM, and like I love video gamey type like beats and stuff like that.
For sure.
Like I feel like a lot of the beats that I create are very gamey. Like it's a lot of like like strums and like pops and like doop doop doop. Like I like lots of like the plucks and strings. Like I love the sounds. Yeah, and the EDM just ate.
Definitely, every time I hear NGC's music, it always gives me kind of a Middle Eastern-y vibe as well. There's like something about the scales he uses and sticks with for the most part, that kind of like tend towards almost like an Egyptian kind of sounding. Like it's a little like mystical and pharaoh feeling.
Man, I don't really feel like I've ever heard anything like that. Like unless it was like video gamey. It was like a cool drum effect version of like, I don't even know how to explain it. I would probably give that like, I mean, to me, that's like a solid 9 at least.
I agree. I would say that it's not a full 10 to me in terms of like creativity, because like I think a full 10 to me is like something I really am not like expecting. And there's themes I've heard in there. All of it I liked. It was just like one of those things where like I've heard stuff similar to this in like, you know, like you said, it's kind of video gamey. It's got kind of like a popular aesthetic to it, almost like you'd hear this kind of sound trending on something like TikTok or something, maybe. Like you'd hear that for like some kind of edits.
That's true.
So I feel like I've kind of heard the style, but not like this before. So I would definitely agree with like a solid 9 at the very least.
I completely loved it. I mean, like right off the beginning, I was like, "Here's the sample," and then it's like, boom,
Yeah, right.
and it's like, "Oh, okay, cool beans. I like that."
For production quality, what do you think about the quality of the sounds and everything you used and the production?
I thought it was overall pretty great. I do think I don't know if it's because I'm listening to it through your streaming, but like it was like super good, but at the same time I couldn't tell if it was like kind of muddy or not. So I don't know if like from your point of view if there was any like muddy aspects or if you thought that it was mixed really well.
Yeah, that drop is really solid. I definitely think it fills out really well. I think it holds very well. I do agree with it being a tad muddy, but that also could just be kind of the style of this genre. It's fast, right? And when it's fast,
100%.
It does kind of like just in general more speed muddies things up. Also because you have so many things sonically close to each other that it's going to push.
That's completely valid.
So in terms of arrangement and his structure for how he moved things, how he structured the beat, where things went, and kind of like the overall story of the track. How did you feel?
Thought it was good. I liked it a lot, man. The arrangement went well. I felt like, I mean, it didn't stay in one spot for too long or too little. Felt like,
yeah, I don't think I had any points where I felt like it was dragging on, or I feel like everything was pretty well spaced out.
Like it feels like the whole thing is going, and then he kind of like adds something in there, you know. I don't know if that's like super arranged, but I do like the aspect of like here's some cake, now here's some candy, now here's some new candy.
All right, and then X Factor, the originality. What do you think about the originality of something like this?
I don't want to rank this too high, and I don't want to rank this too low. I'm thinking a solid 7, just because of the aspects of like this makes me think of that one song, like the crabs that are like going back and forth, you know.
Crab Rave, yeah.
Yes, Crab Rave, and then like like those quick video game beats where like or I'm comparing it a lot to a video game, and so in a sense like it kind of reminds me of like Crash Bandicoot or like
that's a good example.
like stuff like that, Bandicoot.
He did start out with kind of those like tribal drums and stuff like that for sure. So NGC is sitting at a total sum of 40. He got a 9 in creativity, 8.5 in sample integration, an 8 in production quality, a 7.5 in arrangement, and a 7 in originality, that X factor. Any closing notes for NGC?
NGC, hit me up, man. I like those beats.
Coming in first place, we have NGC 5194 with a total score of 40. Definitely killing it. That was super good vibes. I think it had all the energy. It stood on its own. It had, the quality of production up there with it, and I think it just had a lot of that good energy we were looking for a beat battle, right? It was exciting. It was up there, and it had changes, progression. I think honestly, it was very deserving of the well-rounded scores it got.
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
That was a really, really different beat in a way. It was really nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see once we get more contestants to see people come in here and come up against NGC.
So it is like tournament style, right? Like there's other people, and then you just like, is it kind of like, and then like elimination, like.
So you like bracket style? So bracket style is something. Yeah. I'm going to keep NGC's name kind of in the back of a little list right now. As we get more winners, if we want to do a winners bracket, like put all the winners up against each other inside an actual tournament, and that would be legitimately the one where it's like once I get 8 winners for 8 different competitions, I'll probably jump into having a bracket style competition and say, all the champions, I want you guys to go head to head, and it's going to be them against each other. It's not going to be just everyone inside a pile and see who's the best. It's going to be you versus the other guy you're competing against randomly, and then you're going to try to progress through rounds that way. The more people that know about the competition, obviously, the better kind of things I can do. I can't state it enough how much my goal is for this to be a an actual resource for producers. Like I want this competition to be not only beneficial for feedback, I want them to get, different creative minds to look at their song, critique them, and give them stuff in hopefully a positive manner. I hope we did that respectfully and positively, which I believe we did. I think everyone did a really good job. I think I'm really happy with how the competition went. I really want this to be a resource for producers. Like I want people to join the competition and be like, I earned this software, and because I was a good producer, I'm rewarded by having this given to me, right? I want this to be a place like that. I want it to be something that, sponsors want to look at, and maybe even let like connections or networks pick up people like labels. I want this to be a place where it is focused on these guys. It's not focused on you or me. I want it to be beneficial for everybody, but it's like I want them to get the limelight for it, because I don't think beat competitions make it enough about the music. They make it about the judges or the kind of prestige of like knowledge, and it's like I have all this knowledge to be useful for someone else and to help other artists grow, and it's like that's what I want to see the most come out of this project, right? For ultimate producer, I want to find the ultimate producer and give them the ultimate opportunities, basically. As cringy as that is, I want that to be the ultimate thing, right? I want that to be like super awesome. I want this to be a rewarding place to come and get that resource.
No, for sure. That's a beautiful thing to want, and it's not cringy, man. Not at all. I'd love to be as involved as possible in this same thing, because I mean, as a dreamer myself, I would love to be, a person, a helping hand, and someone who helps others reach their dreams as well,
Again, in my promotional video, I was like, I just want this to be a resource. I'm tired of people coming out here to be like, oh, good job, here's a pat on the back, you did awesome. And it's like, cool. I want this to be a place where, like, you guys can all go into the description and you guys can find every artist linked to their page. You can support them directly. You can go, listen to their music. That supports them. You can listen to my music. You listen to Jfiggy's. I wanted this to be a whole thing where people get to see you as the artist. They get to know Jfiggy more than just the rapper, and they get to see, like, your actual mind behind the music and stuff like that. And, I hope it, that people support you as well from this, because it's awesome that you dedicated 2 hours now of your time to come here and talk to me about music and whatnot, and I think that's super awesome. Definitely appreciate you coming out. It's super helpful, man, and I'm glad to have you as a friend. So,
dude, absolutely, this is so much fun, and I'm very grateful to have you as a friend. I tell my wife all the time, I'm like, oh man, I'm about to do this with SoundNinja, or like I'm talking to SoundNinja tonight, or like, like my guy. He's my guy, man. That's my guy. So yeah. I'm appreciative and grateful for the friendship that we have, and I know it's long lasting, even though we've never met each other in person.
I think this is actually like the first time we've ever talked on a call as well. This is like our first introduction to each other too. Like this is the first time we really hung out, aside from business meetings, I think, with different clients we both worked for mutually.
Yeah, overall, just very grateful and thankful to have you as a friend. You don't, like, when it comes to like music and stuff, like I don't have any friends like in town or anything that like music, you know what I mean? Like the way that we do. So yeah, this is definitely awesome. Yeah, just a bunch of nerds.
Ultimate nerds right here. That's what we are.
Yes, sir. And y'all, share it with your friends so you guys can all compete together if you have like beat making friends and artists and stuff.
I try not to plug myself too much, right? But the more you can make the beat battles grow, the bigger prizes I can kind of give. I want to funnel the money from YouTube back into the competitions, and I want this to be, again, that resource, for you guys that makes you get to keep doing what you're doing, right? Because it's hard to do music and life. I'm working, 2 different jobs right now on top of doing freelance music production, and it's like that always takes away from this stuff. I've had to cut different parts out that I really want to do, and I don't want to cut those out, right? And I want to give other people the opportunity to not have to cut out those things, and that's my motivation for supporting anybody who does a battle. I wish I could support everybody, but that's also not how life works. So
yeah, that's absolutely correct.
All right, Jfiggy, any closing thoughts for the competition?
No, thank you for having me. Thank you for being a host to this. Thank you for being a person that all these producers and artists can come to. Like, dude, what you're doing is awesome. So really, all I have to say is thank you. It's really cool.
I appreciate it.
For sure.
All right, and I guess.
And obviously, let me just say thank you to the people as well. I know you just thanked them for joining, but I want to thank all of the people who are joining this. Continue to do this. It's awesome. It's experience. It's knowledge. It's lots of things. Okay, it's fun, and that I think fun trumps a lot of things. You know what I mean? So.
100%, and it's free to join.
It's free. That's awesome.